This would be an interesting competition, actually. Like, how well of a speech can you conduct after getting shot at? Put people in a room, like, you won't harm anyone. Like, you don't want anyone to actually be seriously hurt. But really rattle them from a gunshot and then be like, quick, give us a 1-minute speech. Rally the troops. Ready, go. What are they going to say? Are they really going to say, hey, everyone play fair, okay? Come on, guys. Let's be grown-ups. Come on. Like, can you imagine? You get shot in the ear and you get up and just go, come on, guys. Hey, this is an example of why we need to calm down the rhetoric. All right, so this is a special report for mixed messages. We don't normally turn these videos around in a short period like we will today. I'm recording this Monday morning, and we'll release it Monday afternoon. But I want to strike while the iron's hot, because what happened this past weekend is exactly what I've been talking about on this channel for the past few months. Of course, I'm talking about the MLB draft. No, I'm just kidding. No, what happened Saturday night and bled into Sunday, no pun intended, has brought about so many examples how the misleading media is getting caught with their pants down. What? Again. Okay, so here's a scenario. You're hanging at home on a Saturday night, chilling on your sofa, getting comfortable. Maybe you've got some chips and salsa, a nice drink, air conditioning going because it's so unbearably hot right now. And one thing's for sure, you're not going to watch the news tonight. I mean, you haven't watched it in 4 years. Resolved to not really consume the news at all because it just gets your blood boiling, causes division. It's not a good thing in your house. And then you get a call. You say, oh, what? Oh, shot? What? A bullet? Is he alive? You find out about Trump getting shot at his rally in Pennsylvania. What do? Do you turn on the news? Do you log into New York Times or the Washington Post, maybe even World News Group, and read what's going on? Do you break the fast and turn on CNN or Fox? Call a friend? Is it insensitive to just kind of turn a blind eye and not really care? I mean, this could be history in the making. Well, this is a predicament that mainstream media has created for many Americans. History is happening before our eyes, and we can't tell if it's real or not. And we don't really want to know if it's real or not, or we don't know how to tell if it's real or not. I don't know, some combination of all of those. You may remember from my last video how quickly some sources like the New York Times or CNN jump the gun on stories. With the Gaza hospital strike, they were very, very quick at the New York Times to say that it was Israel, and that was debunked within a matter of minutes, and they walked back their steps and corrected themselves after misleading hundreds of thousands of people around the country. And yet, on Saturday, they refused to do that. Is it because they learned their lesson and didn't want to get it wrong on the first try? I don't know. I think it's because they were waiting for a twist that played in favor of their network. And they didn't get that, but they tried. So I want to talk about the fallout from Saturday. We've had a weekend to digest it. It's been an exhausting weekend for many of us. A lot of information, inundated with a lot of facts, lies, fears, who knows what else. So, first of all, Sunday evening, I log into CNN News Source. It's 5:39 p.m., almost 24 hours since the event. I'm sitting exhausted, sleep deprived, maybe because of the events of the past 24 hours or because of a screaming newborn infant. Probably a combination of both. But I decided to just take a gander at the CNN News Source. And right at the top, the leading headline is Trump injured at political rally. Could you understate it anymore? I mean, he was they don't seem to understate anything else. In fact, they overstate things and say it's the end of the world in so many different ways. It's the end of democracy, that it's reason for alarm in so many different ways. And yet, in this instance, well, yeah, he was shot. I guess it was an assassination attempt, but he was injured. That's all we can say. I mean, you have likely seen all of these first headlines that came out from the mainstream media. Let's pull them up. In the Sunday Denver Post, above the fold, the headline was, "Gunman dies in attack." It's real, yes. You wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it here. Trump escorted away after loud noises at Pennsylvania rally. NBC, Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises, a.k.a. gunshots. But yeah, there's popping noises. I think it's funny that so many of these people, when they hear fireworks, basically July 2nd to 6th, around July 4th, whoa, was that a gunshot or a firework? But they're not very quick to attribute gunshot here. Look at Newsweek. MAGA responds with outrage after Donald Trump injured at Pennsylvania rally. Out of curiosity, I tuned into CNN when I first heard the news, and I was blown away by the reporting that was done, especially the on-the-ground reporting, as they interviewed eyewitnesses. Watch this.
You mentioned, and I'm sorry, I know this is very emotional for you as well. You mentioned that, this was your first Trump rally. How are you feeling about the election now? What are you hoping to see moving forward? We've already seen a lot of statements of support from across the aisle come in for the former president. I can tell you, too, from our sources that they say that Donald Trump is okay, that he is at a local facility being treated. But I would love just your view on, I know you came here today to support the man that, the former president. I'm curious how you think about this now. I know it's a hard question given the chaos that we're currently in and the adrenaline that we're both feeling right now. But if you can share any of that insight.
I mean, this guy just witnessed a shooting. The person next to him was actually shot, and she's asking him, so what are your thoughts about November? Are you considering maybe switching up on the ballot? I mean, does this give you reason? Talk to me about politics here. Maybe I'm wrong for criticizing her in that, like that it's inevitable that we talk about this because he's running for president, but it's like this is mere hours after a shooting occurred. My colleagues here at World brought on Eric Erickson for the podcast this morning, and listen to what he said.
Look, I don't think we're going to have a change in tone when the media's first reaction is to lecture the right about their rhetoric. I'm struck by Jamie Gagnell, who is the CNN national security reporter, who sees the video of Donald Trump 30 seconds after he's shot, stands up, raises fist in the air, and says, fight, fight, fight. And her gut reaction is, it's unfortunate he didn't try to tell the crowd to tone down the rhetoric. He'd been shot 30 seconds before.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this, to that point.
Or Margaret Brennan from CBS News, who reads Donald Trump's statement he put on social media thanking the doctors, mourning the loss of the dead, and says it was unfortunate he didn't try to tone down the or call people for calm.
And he closes with God Bless America, and we saw him raise his hand in the air defiantly, blood on his face as he left the stage.
He is recovering from these injuries now. This was a traumatic event, no doubt, for him. But I did notice there was no call for lowering the temperature, condemning all political violence, and really trying to signal to his supporters as well.
Yeah, so there's no shock there. The media can't be responsible in dealing with most things, it would appear. And you may remember back when the January 6th Capitol riots happened, many media outlets and the vice president-elect at the moment then, Kamala Harris, were quick to compare those riots to 9/11, speaking of overstatements. And yet when a president is targeted for an assassination for the first time in over 40 years, you're just going to understate everything and you're going to blame him. I mean, the amount of outlets that have blamed him for this assassination attempt or criticized him for how he reacted 30 seconds after literally getting shot. This would be an interesting competition, actually. Like, how well of a speech can you conduct after getting shot at? Put people in a room, like, you won't harm anyone. Like, you don't want anyone to actually be seriously hurt. But really rattle them from a gunshot and then be like, quick, give us a 1-minute speech. Rally the troops. Ready, go. What are they going to say? Are they really going to say, hey, everyone play fair, okay? Come on, guys. Let's be grown-ups. Come on. Like, can you imagine? You get shot in the ear and you get up and just go, come on, guys. Hey, this is an example of why we need to calm down the rhetoric. Like, the fact that rhetoric would come out of his mouth after getting clipped in the ear by a bullet, That's absurd. These people have too much time on their hands. And like I said, Corey Carpentore, his story is being completely overshadowed by all of this. The fact that he dove in front of his wife and daughter to protect them from bullets and died doing that. But no, we dare not distract from the fact that Donald Trump is a dictator, is a Hitler-like figure. I mean, if you compare someone to Hitler, why wouldn't they try to kill him? It's a common question. What if you could go back in time, what would you do? And people said, kill Hitler. It'd stop genocide from happening and all the horrible things. Now, you're probably wondering why is the story of this dad not circulating. It's because it won't keep you coming back. It's simple enough. What they're feeding you right now makes you want to come back, to tune in, to check in on what's happening. There's enough of a heightened fear that you have to keep checking in because knowledge is power. You feel safe when you know what's going on. So they've created this atmosphere of you have to know in order to be safe and to rest at peace. Meanwhile, a life is lost. The media has a responsibility to loop you in with accurate information, with the primary goal of your knowledge and your safety, not your consumption and your funding of their shenanigans. So really, I'm finding more and more the question is no longer what is the story, but what is the story that isn't being told? All right. Now, the main reason I wanted to get this out so quickly is to get this point across. I don't think we were built for this 24/7 information news cycle that Twitter and media sites and push notifications allows us to take part in. I don't think that the human mind can keep up with this. Not too long ago, you would only know what was happening off the headline that you would get in the morning. You had to wait until then to find out. Or you had to tune into the radio and there was one source. So many voices, both verified and unverified, checked and unchecked. And it's a lot. In fact, I think it's too much. I think sometimes at the end of the day, you need to get the headline and get out of there. Just take the news in a bite-sized form and then go do something else. Like go fish or find a trampoline park or learn how to knit. I don't know. But stop scrolling, whatever you're doing. I'm just kind of shamelessly plugging World here, but there's intention in what we're doing by only giving you guys a minute 15 on a story like the Trump assassination attempt and then moving on to other stories because there are other things that are happening in the world, and believe it or not, no matter what those things are, it's never a reason for panic. You don't need to be worried. Newsflash, you heard it here first. Caleb Bailey at World Watch, you don't need to be afraid. Like, stop panicking, stop freaking out, slow down, stop scrolling for a second and go do something. Be with your family, hang out, talk with someone about their life. You got the headline, you got the news. And here at World, we want you to know, yeah, there's news out there you need to know. We're going to give it to you, give you the bare bones version of it, and move on because there are other things going on in life. And even if that thing is tragic, is terrifying, is actually cause for concern. In the grand scheme of things, you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to freak out. But if you think I'm wrong and that we do need to be consuming this information 24/7 and there's a good part of that and a healthy part of that, let me know. Tell me in the comments. I want to know. I could be wrong here. But coming off of the past 48 hours, I'm realizing this about myself. Now, not everyone is like me. There are people that I know that can do that can continually be sorting through all this stuff and not let it ruin their life. But I think if most of us were honest with ourselves, we can get just the headline and then move on and be okay. Which then calls into accountability, getting the right headline, which, calls back to all my other videos. So just go back and watch all my other videos about why people need to give good, accurate headlines and not clickbaity headlines. Hey, I'm Caleb Bailey. I'm a reporter with World Watch News, and we are a daily educational news program for students. Our team tackles current events and human interest stories all in one while hopefully not leaving you stressed out. Along with these videos on YouTube, we have a full 10-minute show. And if you go to worldwatch.news/YouTube24 and use the code YouTube24, that's all caps YouTube24, you'll get the first month for free. So if you like what we're doing here, try out our full news program. 10 minutes, 5 days a week. Just use the link in the code and we'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.